Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing as good as they can be doing. I am in San Francisco and dealing with so much freaking allergies, but I hadn't done a video for a minute, and so I wanted to come back on here and just kind of touch base. Just the stuff I'm seeing in the world, to be fair, I'll be very real with you guys. I was shocked that the snatching away didn't happen last year. If I'm being completely transparent, because it just seemed like that was it, like it was it. But I have refocused myself on business. And I still give the evangel to anybody who will listen, and I try to read the room to see if somebody's respondent to it. Is that the right word? But it just fewer and fewer people are, respondent. Like everybody, I feel like, is just into their religion or into their, secular humanism, and not to be. To be completely transparent, I do actually believe, the whole manifestation stuff. I actually kind of believe in that, but not in the same way that they believe in it. I believe that if God puts something in you, then you can manifest it, because you wouldn't even had a thought about it. You know what I'm saying? If God hadn't already done it in the absolute beforehand. I was trying to explain this to a friend of mine who's a big believer in manifestation, and I was just explaining that, yes, you can manifest, but in the absolute, God's already done everything. So you're just walking it out, basically. You're playing out the script, you know what I'm saying? So I don't get too caught up and worried about, am I, thinking the right way, thinking, how the whole positive thinking thing. Yes, I believe in thinking positive, because we of all people should be thinking the most positive, because we as the body of Christ have the biggest hope ever in history of humanity. I mean, the fact that I just watched Martin's video this morning, and it was so amazing, talking about how, when the body is dead to sin, but we're not even reckoned, our sin is not even counted against us, because God sees us as dead, or risen in Christ. We're not even in that. That's what the Israel people are trying to do. And I have another channel, it's an ADHD coaching channel. I actually, speaking of which, I joined a mastermind this year, and I'm going to a live event tomorrow in Georgia, Lord willing. I'm in San Francisco right now, and I have to do 3 legs today, come back at midnight, and then leave early in the morning tomorrow. But anyway, I was just thinking about, on my other channel, I've been getting these trolls, and a lot of the people that subscribe to that other channel, they subscribe to my profile, because I would comment on a lot of these conspiratorial sites. I'm really realizing this now. And so everything I've been posting, they come on and they just have these nasty comments, you don't know what you're talking about, and you don't understand the elites, and because I made a comment about how Mark Zuckerberg and some of these other people, they limit their decisions, and that's part of the reason they're very successful. Do I think that freaking Mark Zuckerberg is probably a lizard person? Probably. I mean, the guy's weird, okay? But I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to care about that shit. I used to get all up about that shit. But it's what, if he's a lizard man or whatever, then what am I going to do about it? I mean, and just all these ridiculous comments. And I'm realizing I'm now needing to get rid of those people, because those are not my target audience, to get in people that are interested in what I'm having to say. And I'm going to be releasing a course, because it came to me. This is going to be it's going to be 90 days to launch your business, whether it's brick and mortar or it's online, because I have done that. So I feel like I can teach in that arena. So But anyway, it was just like frustrating but then you realize it's all these Israel types. It's all these Israel types that are all about working for Jesus, being obedient, all about the works of the law, whether it's the law of Moses or it's their own self-righteousness, and they don't get it. They don't get it. And they focus on, I spent years focusing on that shit, and it just made me more miserable, like focusing on, oh, the Illuminati is running the world. Oh God, I mean, I know the nasty stuff they do, the evil, horrific stuff they do. I'm aware of it. I mean, we're talking about, I don't know if I can say the word on here, cannibalism and really atrocious stuff, like really, really dark evil, okay? But I'm very aware of it. And it caused me to have like a nervous breakdown in 2019 when I found out about Hollywood and, Hollywood and all the stuff they do. I mean, Hollywood means a witch's wand. The holly tree is what they make the witch's wands out of, the holly tree. So, I mean, I'm aware of all of it. But again, how does it benefit me? How does it benefit me to just be obsessed about this stuff 24/7 and run around and comment and you don't understand about, the Illuminati and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Sons of the Golden Dawn. I'm like, yeah, I actually do. I actually probably know more than you, but it's not what does it do to just obsess over this shit? And that's really what I'm coming to a point of is like, I just kind of don't care about much anymore. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I just, it's almost like, does anyone feel like God is like numbing us out in a weird way or something? I don't even know how to describe what I'm trying to say. It just seems like God's making us like numb before he extracts us. Because, in 2020, last year, and even the year before, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And, all these freaking people talking about the rapture is this day, this year, this month, and all of it failed, obviously, as I had an intuition it would. And I'm glad, because it just shows that all these Christians are all making it up. They're all deceived. I mean, yes, they are all deceived. I was talking to somebody the other day and how I'll never go to church again. Never. I mean, I said, I meet with the body of Christ and I want to come to the conference if we're still here. But that's not the same thing as going to church. And that was my soon-to-be ex-husband's biggest beef with me, is that I didn't want to participate in a community. And what I tried to explain to him so many times that he still does not grasp. And he tries to drag my children to church. They're grown, by the way. I don't know why. It's like this, he gets angry because they don't want to go to church. And it's like, if you would actually sit down and think about the way you've treated them over the years and drug them to all these dysfunctional churches, and we've been all these different religious things like Messianic Jew and Baptist. I mean, we weren't Catholic ever, because he doesn't believe in the Catholic religion, but I mean, charismatic, Pentecostal holiness, Church of God. I mean, you name it. And I just, they're resentful. They're resentful because my kids see through. Well, my youngest, actually, she's 17. She does have an attitude, but she sees through the stuff. So does my eldest. Both my eldest. I have 4 children. Technically, I have my oldest is actually my nephew, but we raised him and adopted him. But I'm saying he's always thought it was BS. And he's like, I struggle to even come visit because I feel like Dad will just want me to go to church with him, and he'll get so upset emotionally if I don't want to be in church. And he's like, I think it's all BS, and he actually is one of the ones that listens to Martin. Like my oldest daughter just kind of, I don't know. She just checks out. She just has these mood swings and stuff, and she won't really listen to what I try to explain to her. But he actually does. And he's kind of like the type of personality. He doesn't really believe there's much hope in this world. And he's like, I don't think this, and he's not even really, I don't know if he's a believer. I've been talking to him for a long period of time and trying to, you know, plant those seeds. But he says everything you say makes sense. Like, you're the only one that makes sense about what you say, you know? So there's that seed there. But he was just talking about how he doesn't think there's even 5 to 10 more years of this eon, of this world system, you know? And that pretty much we're done because of AI and everything like that. And I think he's right. I think he's right. I think God is allowing the AI to just go full blown. Like, it's being regulated right now, still technically, but the rails, once they take the rails off of that thing, it's over. It's over. AI can literally do pretty much anything now. I mean, and then the robots that they've got programmed with the AI. I mean, we're getting laid off at the end of the month from my other job that I knew was coming. And like, God worked all this miracles out these last year. But I mean, they're just dissolving the entire program. Been going on for 9 years. We were corporate trainers. I trained bakery operations for all the Sam's Club locations in Colorado, Idaho, Montana, and Grand Junction, Colorado Springs, all those areas. Anyway, and yeah, they're just dissolving it. They're just dissolving the whole program. I mean, there's mass layoffs going on right now. But anyway, going back to my soon-to-be ex-husband. Like, he just, like, I can tell him, I can look him in the eye and tell him, like, I have so many times, I'm like, I can't sit next to a woman, like a little, like, Martin gave this kind of example. This, like, woman that's, like, a little granny, and she brings cookies to church every day. Excuse me, my eyes, everything's itching today. And they're like, oh, you know, here's your cookie. Thanks for coming to church. And, you know, but if you don't, you know, but your parents who don't believe in Jesus and didn't make a decision for Jesus out of their own free will, they're going to burn in hell forever, even though they're the most moral people out there. They're like, per my husband's own words, my parents are more Christ-like than his Christian family ever could be. It's like, I can't do that shit. I even explained this to this religious friend of mine, this Christian religious friend of mine, that's like, their whole life has been starting churches and being in ministry because they grew up in the Pentecostal Holiness Church and they left that, but then they went into like the charismatic stuff, you know? I mean, I feel like once you have that Pentecostal history, like, you're always going to want these like signs, wonders, miracles as crap. You can't, it's like a drug, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get away from it unless you come to a knowledge of the truth and you realize it's all horse shit. Well, then, yeah, or like that it's not for this time. It's not for this evangel. And, but yeah, it's just, I just feel like an alien here. I feel like a complete alien. And I'm okay with that now. I'm actually getting to a place where I'm actually okay with that. I actually mix better with these people that are like about manifesting, even though like I said, I have a different view of manifesting than they do. And maybe they don't know that either. But I fit in with them more because it's like, I'd literally rather be with an atheist, even though I think atheism is stupid too. But I'd rather be with an atheist than I would a Christian at this point. There's just no way. I mean, and the Christian religion has turned my ex-husband into like a total zombie. Like, he can't even critically think. He just sits there stoically when you try to have a conversation, like a basic conversation with him. And it's like, he feels like he has to answer in a certain way based off the scriptures, you know? So he has to like mask his own true self and be like this other person that's not even real. And it's like, God's not asking you to do that, but you're just, in your head, you're thinking that this is like what you need to do to be a good Christian. Does that make sense? It's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But it's not just him. It's like so many Christians. It's so much of anybody that's afflicted by the parasitical disease of the Christian religion, you know? Because you do have to become someone else. You have to become a fake version of yourself, because to swallow, what did Jesus say? Swallow a camel, you know? I know he's talking to the Israel evangel for that, but I'm just saying it's the same premise. You know, you have to straighten out and swallow a camel. and you swallow all this stuff that you would actually hate, like you would hate it if you could admit to yourself, like if you knew who you were and what you believed, and if you believe the truth, like you would absolutely hate that shit. But because you're under a cult influence, basically, you don't even recognize yourself. You know what I'm saying? You just don't even, you can't be yourself. You can't even give an opinion based off of your own critical thinking, because you don't have any critical thinking. Because you've dumped your brain in the trash can, and you've allowed other people to control you. But God forbid the person who has the truth ever try to tell you, oh, you'll reject that. You hate that. You think you can just sin and get away with this. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But yes, you can, but that's just part of the conversations we've had. But the fact that I don't believe in hell, and I gave him Martin's book, by the way. He said he was going to read it. Didn't take it to Australia. 16 hours back and forth. 16-hour flight. Forgot it. So it just shows me, like, he's locked up. And I have tried for years and years and years. And maybe God will unlock him, but it's not my responsibility. And I am thankful for that. And I'm so glad to know that, because so many Christians don't understand that they can do absolutely nothing to save anybody or to do anything. It's all God, you know what I'm saying? That is opening and closing eyes. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself with all the crazy going on, that God is doing all this. But for us, it's going to mean a glorious, not ending, but beginning. But it's actually going to equal a glorious ending or beginning for everybody in the grand scheme of things. It's just that some people are going to have to wait a little longer. But I was just thinking the other day about how much bitterness and what is the word I'm looking for? Like regret and horror that these Christians are going to feel when they realize, like, they weren't a believer. They were worshiping a false Christ. They were worshiping Baal Peor, thinking they were worshiping the true Christ. They believed wholeheartedly that they were worshiping the true Christ. But they're going to find out, no, you were like completely off the rails. And these little people over here that were trying to tell you, like, it was all about Christ's accomplishment. Yeah, it's going to be a bad day for them. It's going to be a very bad day for them. And the abuse I've gone through with Christians, I am going to be rewarded for that. And you guys are going to be rewarded for that. I mean, because honestly, like I said, I'd rather be hanging out with secular humanists, manifesting people, and, people talking about the universe. And I do believe, like, God's in control of the universe. But I'm saying that, how people use the term, like, the universe. I don't think there's any, I just think, okay, they just mean God, But I'd rather be around those people any day than be around a bunch of religious hypocrite Christians that don't have a fucking clue what's going on, and yet think they know everything and have all the secrets and have all the knowledge. And they literally, just like God, I believe, spoke into my spirit that day, that fateful day in 2009, telling me, just because you know the scriptures doesn't mean you know anything. Doesn't mean you know what they mean. And again, I know God doesn't talk like that in this eon, but I don't know, it was a weird, it's in my mind. It wasn't like God showed up in a burning bush. It was just kind of like a thought, maybe more so, like, hey, you don't know what you're talking, you don't know what you believe, you don't know what this means, like, this can't mean this. Like, it was obviously God putting that in me, right? But I actually almost feel sorry for them. But I feel sorry because, like I've said this to my dad actually the other day. My dad and I were talking, and he was just like, I wish these people could see that these Christians are scammers, trying to get money out of them, like these idiots that just keep giving this money to all these churches. And what was funny was, my dad, or on YouTube, I don't know if you guys have seen, but like on TikTok and not TikTok, Instagram and like Facebook, they're doing all these like, they're making fun of these pastors now. Like these comedians are like making fun of these mega pastors, and these pastors always asking for money and making these jokes about them. And I think it's great because it's just exposing what we've always known, how stupid and ridiculous. I mean, these pastors talking about, and the Lord told me that everybody's to give $1,000 today in cash, and then they show like a person that's like just walking out the door and like getting in their car and going home and like turning on the TV. And it's just, but it's back even 10 years ago. So there were so many more people that took that stuff seriously, and they thought these people were they were the only ones hearing from God, right? And the other people weren't. And so you need to obey your pastor and support your pastor. And I mean, we were told that crap when we went to that toxic church for 7 years that my husband, I mean, he would tithe and give when we didn't even have any money. And he would rather give to the church and people that, like these strangers, than take care of his own family. And that's one of my biggest, to this day, beefs of our marriage, is that he would because of the false belief system, because of the mind screw of Christianity, like the way he believed, well, I have to get, he would even say it. He's like, well, we have to give to people that can't give back to us. And I'm like, yeah, but you first have to take care of your family before you go out and give. Like if you have left over, you can give. He's like, no, that's not the way it works. You give first, and then basically you give your leftovers to your family. And I'm like, well, Paul says right here, if you don't provide for your immediately relatives, and of course I didn't understand the two evangels at the time, but I was like, then you've denied the faith and you're worse than an infidel. So it seems to me right here, Paul is saying like that is number one priority, in the church, that you give to your family first. And then if you have leftover, you give to the Tom, Dick, and Harrys, but it was always the opposite in our relationship. It's a long story and I'm not going to go into it, but I hid money many times. Like I said in another video how he moved people in, would like want to take care of these like leech people, and at the expense of our children. And I just found out about a situation that happened with one of my children because of these situations. I'm working through a lot of stuff right now. Anger, just rage, because this person that it's like, even after all this drama and stuff that they caused, they can't see how erroneous their belief system is. That their belief system caused all this crap. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm still the crazy one, or I'm negative. That's what he loves to say. I'm negative. I'm negative because I call out the bullshit. Well, it is what it is. And I won't go into more of that because that's real personal, and I'm kind of choosing what I'm going to say and not say. I'm not posting anything on social media about like our separation, divorce, or anything like that, because I just don't want the drama right now. Like I'd rather just focus on business stuff and be like, what's the word I'm looking for? And just kind of honestly like ignore it. Because I'm actually hoping the snatching away happens this year. I really feel that we have guys, it can't go on much longer. I mean, I feel like it's waiting to just, like God is holding it back to just boom. You know what I'm saying? Because when we're out of here, it's going to go, everything's going to go crazy. Everything's just going to go hyper speed to the end of the eon, So anyway, I just want to share a little bit of what was going on. I got to get on a plane. I got to change and get back on the plane. I got 3 legs today, and then I got to go to Georgia tomorrow. But I hope you guys have an amazing day. And I want to get into the habit of actually doing scriptural studies on here, not just rambling. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I wasn't gone. I've been crazy busy, but in a good way. I redid he moved out of the master bedroom. I redid it. It's like going to be my office / filming area, and I love the vibe now. So I'm super excited. Just out with the old and with the new. We're still on good terms as far as like talking and co-parenting. I mean, our youngest is 17 going on 18, so it's not like they have much longer, but we can't really sell the house right now because the market's absolute trash and we don't really have any equity in the house. So we'll just see what happens. It's weird. I'm not worried about anything, and I'm at peace. Like, I'm at peace being single for the rest of my life. And wait, I don't think we have that much longer till the snatching away. So, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, bye.